attempting to discuss what attorneys for Yoko Ono have done through Seattle and Pittsburgh, specifically Amanda Harcourt, who worked with Roger Waters, scamming the whole world, the whole media community on the AIDS attack, which has made the alternative media opposing Gaza's position totally untenable. None of them really have any standing, as horrified as they are at what's happening in Gaza, because of their cooperation in the scam that was authored in the name of Gail Burston. But there are certain things that you can sort of do to diagnose the situation to make sure that it's parsed out in record. For example, Pitt made clear that they're almost animalistic when it comes to playing favorites for people who are established and have money from the Jewish community. It's not so much that they have laws; they have law conscription powers. They invent power and use it. The way they deafened me, refused to let me go to school even though by contract I was entitled to free tuition, moved me to Seattle with fraud about safekeeping, freedom from protection from abuse. Seattle is psychopathic if they think that they can put up in neon signs protection from abuse and then torture somebody and get away with it logically. They get away with it politically because of a trashy pimp act at the University of Pittsburgh. So they pose as deep nativists. The KKK used to say the state ways can't change folk ways. And that's basically the pimpery of the NAACP in Pittsburgh and Seattle's attitude to adopt the KKK slogan for themselves. The act in question was one night stand. I was attracted to a girl from India who invited me over to her. We made an engagement to go out and see a movie. She invited me to her house. And in the morning, she told me she was living with somebody who wasn't really her roommate. It was a legal arrangement to get them into the States. And I didn't want to be involved with a married woman, so I broke it off. But the idea was to entrap me in a fundamentalist decoy representation of the white liberal in America to cover for the way that I had been kidnapped and tortured, while the people who wrote the script by Gail Burston hustled it. Through the legendary museum thief community in Carnegie Mellon University, working with Yoko Ono and Neva Pornographic, that's what happened. Logically, I had nothing to do with an adultery. I was not informed. I did not knowingly cross this Satan line that they set up. And they claimed the woman from India had dark skin. Therefore, she was honorary the Congo drummer from Senegal with Penis Gabriel. I mean, the woman had the international legal right to sleep with somebody. She was lonely, and her husband was a fake. It was a trick to get him into the nuclear science program. Under international law, she was in the right, but under the mockery of the fundamentalist system that the Black Panthers helped put together to sell their strong arm tactics for Yoko Ono in the attack on, I mean, whoever it was, I'm not saying the Black Panthers themselves murdered my father. They certainly set up the situation or implicated the Green Party Dixon character. And Lady Panther's articles that appear in Pitt News clearly indicate that the Pitt News was graffiti setting up the Pussy Bowl. The most popular thing in Pitt News was Panther football. So Lady Panther and Dixon was a setup for Pussy Bowl. I'm not saying he didn't know that they were going to kill Rodney. The Green Party scribbled their name on his, took credit with don't know who on the obituary, but one of the slick things that the Green Party pulls, a woman named Jill gave me a nerve agent when I was a baby. One of the slick things they pull is they play chess, one-man chess. They hit one side and then the other. They say, oh, it's a race war. And then they go downtown and shoot a black, white girl. They say, I got her, you know. And they make up a story. They just make one up. Oh, well, somebody died of cancer, so the white must have done it. And they just make it up. And then they say, we really believe it, man. We really believe it. Yeah, I have never done anything like that. I went to the police authorities and showed them the evidence and said, I believe there's a case and you should investigate it. It crosses lines into the cinema traffic that I've been investigating because the script was from Hollywood by Gail Burson, was from Hollywood. So, they made a double homicide that hits the black, then white, then white, then black. It's the same purpose. It's one man, it's chess solitaire. But they call it clearing the air because it's a multicultural system of the arc. So the deep nativism, fanaticism, we kill you for a penny. It's because Licky Chops knows the Teamsters, Minios Pizza, these are white Sicilians. The black man says they're honorary black men because they listen to our BS. So these honorary black men from Sicily and from the Teamsters they heard drool stories. I don't mean DROLL, drool stories. Drool stories that a postcard of mine was worth money and that legally the Gurdjieff Society around here plying Ayn Rand for Zappa with the help of Nosferatu and David Geffen, believed that the card may spiritually belong to Jimmy Crary because he hitchhiked from Pittsburgh to St. Louis just to hear Fred play. And they go crazy. I need a kidney. I need a kidney. That card is mine. And a guy named Robert Cards goes and shoots up a bowling alley, you know. And the dharma of the Seattle Black Panther Party and the NAACP is all over these massacres. Even though all they had to do is say, we don't buy it. We don't want anything to do with it. They hear about the Minio's Pizza postcard and they go, oh, Queerball committed a sacred African insult. And these are the people who go around bombing schools because girls are allowed to go to school. You know, I mean, they've made it so that girls are not allowed to go to school in Afghanistan because they'll cross the sacred deep nativism line. It's weird clucker insanity, but in Seattle they call it woke. You know, these people are really precious, you know. Everybody is sublimely endowed with the sacred order of infinite equality. And Martin Sheen says, you have slighted the sacred, the Congolese India symbol by saying she had the freedom to ameliorate her loneliness in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, and it makes sense to them. That's the whole point. This girl took me home. It was her idea. She wanted to make love to me. And Pitt social anthropology started saying, inviting me to dinner in the name of Thornton, which is where Ms. Goto was from. She was the huckster with the whole situation with Donald Trump and the Green Party. Because the bottom line is, tribute them all you want to. Their leader is Donald Trump. That's why it's Donna who, Mur and Merlin, Merlin, Donald Merlin. The Black Panther's leader is Donald Trump. He's the one who gives them the delicious from the casino, both over the table and under the table. I mean, that's the truth of it. So, when you evaluate it, you have to understand that certain facts are involved that you see in the Telltale clip, for example. They call it a fact on the ground that Yoko Ono got Seattle administration of Seattle poisoned me in the mouth. That's a fact on the ground. It doesn't make any difference that they slashed or murdered Shannon Harbs, or that they lied about the whole thing, or that they stole from the museums in terms of affecting their status at the cocktail parties of Bob Ferguson, the Attorney General's, Jay Inslee's approval, their ability to divert funds from the senior center to the skateboard kids. None of this makes any difference to any of them. The fact that they're cold-blooded liars about the whole thing makes no difference to any of them, because Yoko Ono has her facts on the ground. She has these people, for all I know, they lit somebody on fire recently. They actually called, they have certain sandbaggers trying to rewire the use of the word momentum so that they don't have to address that it was introduced to the vocabulary syndication of Flex's alternative media as representing aiding those who released AIDS poison a deaf poet in the mouth in advocacy for museum thieves who went on to commit genocide in Gaza. That's how momentum, that was the code word they used, building momentum. And so Haifong went into a long song and dance using momentum differently as an anti-empire or a counter-empire program. But you see, even the counter-empire program works these illicit lines of production for the croquet Griguster. Her facts on the ground are from a Swami Nostra Arts Council that had Palestinian intellectuals. In other words, when I was in 1993 going into Carnegie Mellon University, broadcasting, putting in print, and circulating to hundreds, even thousands of students, we found evidence that Nosferatu's Israel is seeking revenge for Auschwitz. 1993. Palestinian intellectuals working with Yoko Ono were saying, we'll have to hum and vibrate and see if that resonates to build momentum for what became the destruction of everything that they had. And Haifong wants to rewire that word so it doesn't get across what they did. You can't, if you work it out, you'll see structurally, it's deranged from the very get-go. And they're saying it's not deranged, it makes sense to us, and we get to poison people. And this is all Reagan and Buckley and Patrick Buchanan and Peter Gabriel and Robert Fripp chewing at a carpet for Ringo Starr. He whips them like ravaging Rottweilers, and they chew at Persian carpets. Said, we're going to win one for Ringo. We're going to win one for Ringo.